They say war changes a man, but what no one ever told me is that coming home can be even worse. I left for Iraq thinking I was fighting for my country, but the real battle? It was waiting for me back home, in my own house, in my own bed. This is the story of how I lost everything, and somehow found myself. It's been almost 20 years, and I thought I was over it, thought it didn't hurt anymore. But some wounds don't bleed on the surface. They hide deep in the soul, and some nights, they still whisper. Let me take you back. I was 23, young, clueless, and madly in love. Or at least, I thought I was. She was 28, confident, older, seductive, and to a dumb kid like me, she was everything I thought I wanted. Looking back now, there were red flags, big ones. She always talked down to me. She had this habit of flirting with other guys, right in front of me. And whenever I called her out, she'd spin it on me, like I was the insecure one. But I didn't know better. She was my first serious relationship, hell. My first everything. And that made me easy to manipulate. The way she looked at me, the way she spoke with that voice that could melt granite. I ignored the warnings. My gut screamed, but I silenced it. I thought love meant loyalty. I thought she'd stick by my side. I was wrong. 9/11 changed everything. Like so many others, I felt this fire in my chest, this need to protect, to serve, to do something. The world was upside down, and I wasn't about to sit on the sidelines. So I enlisted. She didn't take it well. Why would you leave me? She asked. Why would you throw our life away for a war that isn't yours? She didn't get it. She never would. I tried to explain. It's not about war. It's about duty. It's about being part of something bigger than just us. You can come with me, wherever I'm stationed. But that wasn't what she wanted. She didn't want to follow me. She wanted control. After basic training at Fort Knox, I was stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas. That's when the fighting got worse. Why Kansas? She yelled. Why not somewhere warm? Somewhere with culture? It'd remind her. It's not a vacation. I go where they send me. Uncle Sam owns me till my tour ends. She hated that. Hated not being in control. But here's the twisted part. The more we fought, the more passionate our nights became. It was like every argument ended in some explosive, make-up sex that felt like the early days. It lulled me into a false sense of security. I thought, maybe this is how relationships work. Maybe it's just the stress. I thought she still loved me. I had no idea what she was planning behind my back. Then the orders came. We were deploying. Iraq. Frontlines. My stomach dropped. Not because I was afraid to go, but because I knew deep down that once I left, nothing would be the same. I held her close the night before I left. She cried into my chest, whispered things like, "Don't die over there. Promise me you'll come home. I don't know what I'd do without you." She kissed me like it was the last time we'd ever see each other. And in a way, it was. But not for the reason I thought. We hit ground in Kuwait before moving into Iraq. I was cross-attached to 234 armor, real heavy-duty stuff. Our mission was to secure and rebuild key locations. I can't say much more than that. You know how it goes. But even in the middle of a war zone, I still had her on my mind. I wrote letters when I could, talked about the dust, the heat, the laughs between brothers in arms, and I waited for her reply. Weeks went by, then months. No letters, no calls, no packages. At first, I told myself she was just busy. Maybe mail was slow. Maybe she didn't want to stress me out. But the other guys, they were getting mail. Care packages, pictures, handwritten notes from wives, girlfriends, moms. Me? Nothing. Some of the other soldiers noticed. They'd offer me snacks from their boxes. Socks, razors, a book or two. They knew something was wrong. Even if I didn't want to admit it, I'd lie. She's just not the letter-writing type. She probably sent something, and it got lost. We're solid. We're good. But deep down, I felt it. Something was broken. Something was off. 9 months passed. Still no word. No letter. No phone call. I started unraveling. We were in a bad spot. Tactically, emotionally, spiritually. I can't talk about the details, but what I can say is, you don't come back from those things the same. And with no support from home, I felt like I was floating in a void. Yad the no anchor. Eventually, my CO pulled me aside, said I needed to take emergency leave. Didn't explain why, just that I had to go home. I was confused, nervous, but hopeful. I thought, maybe something happened. Maybe there's a good reason she went silent. Maybe she's waiting at home for me right now. I had no idea the storm I was about to walk into. They say when you're at rock bottom, the only way left is up. But what if you're not even at the bottom yet? What if the fall has only just begun? The shocking homecoming, discovering the betrayal, confronting her, the fallout, losing everything. When my boots hit US soil, it felt surreal. The air was cleaner, the noise was quieter. And yet, something felt heavier. I'd been gone nearly a year, gone to serve, to protect, to defend. All I wanted was to come home, to her, to the woman who once promised me forever. But as the cab pulled into the driveway, something didn't feel right. Her car wasn't there. The grass was knee-high. Mail was stuffed in the box, like no one had checked it in weeks. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. Silence. Empty silence. No welcome hug. No surprise banner. No noche. Yes, silence. I walked through the house like a ghost, every step echoing on the tile. It was as if someone had hit pause on our life and walked out mid-scene. Clothes missing. Drawers open. Some furniture gone. I went to the bedroom. Our bedroom. The bed was stripped. The closet half empty. Her jewelry box gone. I stared at the nightstand where I used to leave her little notes. They were gone too. All of them. She had wiped me out of this place like I was a bad memory. I went to the mailbox, trying to make sense of things. Inside were letters, unopened bills, bank statements, and one thick envelope from a divorce attorney. That's when my heart sank. She had filed for divorce while I was deployed, without even telling me. But that wasn't the worst part. Attached was a court order for alimony. She was demanding alimony from a soldier deployed in a war zone. It felt like a punch to the gut. I dropped onto the front step, letter in hand, and just stared at the sky. How? How could she? Later that evening, one of my neighbors came over, Mrs. Carlson. Sweet lady, always brought over cookies when we first moved in. She looked hesitant, nervous. I didn't know you were coming home today, she said. I told her I didn't either. She looked at the ground and then back up at me. I think you should know. She wasn't alone while you were gone. There was a man staying here off and on. They weren't exactly quiet about it. She looked sorry. I looked away. The pieces were clicking together now. I did some digging. She'd moved in with some guy, a man she met at her old job, apparently. Started seeing him a few months after I deployed. They'd go out, take vacations, post photos online like teenagers. Meanwhile, I was crawling through sand in 110-degree heat, dodging IEDs, missing birthdays, funerals, holidays, and she was living it up like I didn't exist. Turns out, she sold some of my stuff too. Electronics, memorabilia. Even my grandfather's watch, the one he gave me before he died. Gone. I wasn't just betrayed, I was erased. I finally tracked her down through a mutual friend. She agreed to meet at a public place. We sat across from each other in some cheap diner, under flickering fluorescent lights. She didn't apologize, didn't cry, didn't explain. She just said, "You were gone. I needed someone here. Someone real. You chose the army. You chose to leave me." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You knew what you were signing up for," I said. "You knew I was serving this country for us. You didn't even send a letter. You didn't send anything." She shrugged. "What did you expect me to do? Wait forever?" Life moves on. That phrase stuck in my chest like a bullet. Life moves on. Just like that. The divorce went through like a buzzsaw. She got half, even though she was the one who cheated. Even though I was the one deployed, She got the house. She got the car. She got my dog, the one I rescued before I ever met her. And yeah, she got alimony. Because during my deployment, her lawyer convinced the court that she was accustomed to a certain lifestyle and had suffered emotional damages from my absence. I was too tired to fight, too numb to care. I just signed the papers and walked away. For a while, I lived out of my car. Everything I owned fit in the back seat of a beat-up Ford. I had no place to go, no family close by, no friends who could take me in. Most of the guys I served with were still overseas. I took odd jobs, security gigs, construction, delivery routes, just to keep gas in the tank and food in my gut. Night after night, I'd sit behind the wheel, staring out at the streetlights, wondering how I got here. I gave everything for her, and she threw it away like it was nothing. Depression hit hard. There were days I didn't eat, nights I didn't sleep. I had dreams, no, nightmares of being back in Iraq. Only this time, I couldn't wake up. I started drinking more than I should have, pushing people away, fighting when I didn't need to. Part of me wanted to disappear, just vanish. No more pain, no more reminders. I even sat on the edge of a bridge one night, legs dangling over the side, cars whooshing by behind me. But then I remembered a kid, a local Iraqi boy, who used to bring me fruit at the gate. He once said, "You go back to America. You be strong. You don't forget who you are." And I didn't. I climbed back down, got back in the car, and decided to live. Not for her, not even for me, but for the person I was meant to become. When someone takes everything from you, you learn how to build again from dust. The man I was died over there, but the man I became, he started right here, in the ashes. When you hit rock bottom, there's no map to show you how to climb back up. But sometimes, you don't need a map. You just need one step, and then another, and another. That's how it started. One morning, I woke up in the backseat of my car, my back stiff, my throat dry, and I said out loud, "This isn't where it ends. This is where it begins." The military gave me structure, but after I left the service, that structure vanished. So I rebuilt it myself. I set a schedule, woke up at the same time every morning, hit the gym, ate 3 simple meals, read something even if just a single page. I got a part-time job at a warehouse, then another gig doing night security. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't easy, but it gave me momentum. The smallest routines can become the strongest armor when you wear them every day. I couldn't outlive my pain. I couldn't outrun the memories, so I stopped pretending I could. I reached out to the VA, got a therapist, started attending group meetings with other veterans guys who'd lost limbs, families, hope, and yet they still showed up. One of them, Sergeant Dixon, said something I'll never forget. "You lost a war inside your own home. Doesn't mean you can't win the next one inside your mind. You're still here, soldier. And that counts for something." It did. It really did. I started volunteering at a local community center, helping troubled teens, kids without fathers, boys with fists full of rage and hearts full of fear. I saw myself in them, the younger me, the version of me that almost broke. One kid, Jamal, came up after a session and said, "Man, I don't know how you've been through all that and still show up here smiling." I told him, because if I don't, who will? That's when I realized, pain doesn't just destroy. It shapes. It forges you if you let it. I eventually saved enough to rent a small apartment, bought a used truck, went back to school. With the GI Bill, studied psychology. Yeah, psychology. I wanted to understand people, not just others, but myself. The anger, the betrayal, the heartbreak. Why do some people destroy love? Why do others rebuild it? Studying that, it helped me find peace. It helped me forgive myself, even if I couldn't forgive her. Not yet. Years passed. Then, out of nowhere, one evening, he got a Facebook message. From her. My heart jumped. I stared at it for hours before opening it. It read, "Hey, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. Things didn't go how I thought they would. I was stupid. And I've regretted what I did every day since. You didn't deserve that. You were a good man. I just didn't know how to be a good woman. He didn't reply. Not right away. Not because I hated her, but because I didn't feel anything. No rage. No grief. Just quiet. That silence? That's called healing. Months later, I saw her again, randomly at a grocery store. She looked different, tired, older. We locked eyes. She gave a small, sad smile. I nodded back. That was it. No drama. No fight. No need for vengeance. Because by then, I had rebuilt what she had shattered. And more. I eventually opened my own practice, counseling veterans and first responders. People like me. People who were strong, but quietly bleeding. I got married again. To someone kind. Someone who didn't need me to wear a uniform to feel proud of me. We have 2 kids. A dog. A garden I barely know how to take care of. And every morning, I wake up to peace. Not perfection, but peace. You want to know what I learned from all this? Here it is. 1. The people who promise forever may not mean it, but you must still believe in forever for yourself. 2. The world can break you, but it can also remake you if you keep walking. 3. Some betrayals don't need revenge. They rot on their own. 4. Your pain isn't weakness. It's your teacher. 5. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose next. To every man out there who's been betrayed, to every soldier who came home to a war inside their own house, I see you. I've been you. And I promise you this pain you're feeling, it's not the end. It's the forge. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not destroyed. You are rising. Some wounds bleed invisible, but they also heal invisible. Until one day, you look in the mirror and see a man stronger than you ever imagined. That man is you.